Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And at this time, we would ask you to please rise. The colors this evening will be proudly presented by cadets of the United States Army Junior ROTC from Sam Rayburn High School. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the pledge to the Texas flag, honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Assistant Principal Joe Horton will come and honor us with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated now. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for the 2023 Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Bill Barmore, and I'm the chairman of the Athletics Hall of Fame. This is actually our 11th year in existence, but due to the pandemic and another off year, this is our 9th induction class. And now I'd like to introduce the head table. Joining me are Bill and Diane Brown, Bob and Paulette Fawcett, my wife Jackie Barmore, and Joe and Ruth Horton. We also have quite a number of previous Athletics Hall of Fame inductees. We're also very grateful tonight to introduce this next gentleman. Bill Brown was part of the Houston Astros family since 1987, when he began his career as their TV play-by-play announcer. During his time with the Astros, Bill became one of the most recognizable voices in baseball. He's known for his enthusiasm and passion for the game, and has earned a reputation as one of the premier announcers in all of sports. He was inducted into the Texas Baseball Hall of Fame in 2004. He was inducted into the Media Wall of Honor at Minute Maid Park in 2011, and he was voted Texas Sportcaster of the Year by the Texas voters in the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association in 2013. And on January 21st of this year, the world champion Houston Astros announced that Bill Brown will be inducted into the Houston Astros Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2023. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome your master of ceremonies for tonight, your Houston Astros Hall of Fame announcer and our friend, Mr. Bill Brown.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you for inviting Diane and me to this glorious event tonight. We have a big night ahead, a lot of people to recognize, and we're really thrilled to be a part of it. We hang out in Cypress, Texas, and we have an affiliation with the Cypress Educational Foundation for Sci-Fair, and it's a similar event to this, and so we've been excited about seeing how you guys do it, and we know you do it very, very well. Good to see some familiar faces. Mayor Jeff Wagner, have not seen you in a few years. Glad to see you again from a distance. Dan Lovett has already been recognized by Bill, and I had a chance to chat briefly with Dan. He is one of the preeminent sportscasters ever to come from Houston, as you know, and there have been many. You know, you talk about Jim Nantz and Ron Franklin and a lot of really great sportscasters, Bill Worrell from Houston, and Dan ascended to that very top rung of the ladder, network sports. So, you know, very few people go there, and of course, along the way, he made a lot of friends. And he had an assistant at ABC named Howard Cosell, speaking of sports. There he is. So you can do it better than I can. I knew you could. I knew you could. But there's nothing like Texas, as you well know. And it's just, everything is great in this state. And Diane did not fully realize it, and I did not fully realize it until we moved here for good in 1987. And we were living close to Pasadena, California. So now here we are in Pasadena, Texas. And I know you're chuckling already. You know, what a world of difference. My goodness. Texas, California, we could spend all night on that. But I only get to speak for a half an inning because we do have a busy agenda tonight. And a half an inning these days is pretty quick, as you know. But we found out quickly that making friends is a whole lot easier in Texas than it was in California. You know, we used to be out on our street on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. People would come home from work. We had a little rental house and on a cul-de-sac, and people would zip by in their BMWs, and they'd, you know, the garage door would go up, that car would go in, that garage door would go down. We'd never see them all weekend. Never met them. That's the way it was all too often. And we had some good friends, of course, in California, but wow, were we ever anxious to come to Texas, and it has been God's blessing that we did come here. And we had a preacher friend in Los Angeles who referred us to a preacher friend in Spring Branch named Don Jeans. And we had only been here, I came in February of '87, right before spring training. And then Diane and Allison, our daughter, finished the school year and moved here in June of '87. And unfortunately, just a few days after they moved to Houston, they were in a terrible car wreck. They were sandwiched in between two 18-wheelers. The car was demolished, but fortunately, no serious injuries. She did have to undergo eye surgery, and fortunately, that went well. But it was a horrendous time. And Don Jeans, our preacher friend who we had not met, dropped what he was doing. Yeah. So that was the beginning of our experience with Texas Friends. And Larry Dierker was here doing the Astros. He became a good friend, still lifelong friends with Larry. Players like Billy Doran, Craig Reynolds, Terry Poole have all become great friends. So it's been much more than just a highly sought broadcasting job. You know, I never thought I would get this job here. And I'm so glad that Todd Callis has the job now, because I think he is doing a terrific piece of work with Jeff Blum and Julia Morales on TV. But, you know, when we think back, the first thing I did the first winter after the '87 season was to try to go back through a lot of the history books and study the history of the team and get a feel for the different eras of the Houston Astros. And as you know, not too much was happening in the playoff scene between '62 until 1980, and then that glorious playoff run that year, that tremendous NLCS with the Phillies, the near loss, you know, almost a World Series that year. And then again in '86, almost a World Series when the Astros lost to the Mets in the playoffs. So that was a tremendous era. And then arriving just after '86, I was really pumped up, of course, about that team. And that team was getting older, and gradually over the next few years, players came, players left. It was time to rebuild. That took a while. And then in '97 was the next year in the playoffs. And that's when Larry Dierker took over as the manager. And 4 times in 5 years, that team made the playoffs. So that was a tremendous era, I thought. And having Dirk as one of my best friends made it even more fun. But then, you know, after some near misses, '04, '05, getting to our first World Series, that was big. But then that team was getting old, and we started rebuilding again. And then came the sale of the Astros, and you all know all these stories. But then we had the 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons. And boy, was that difficult. And so one September 2013, you know how it is. High school football takes over in September, and college football, and all kinds of other things, and school. And so, you know, we'd look out in the stands, and we'd have maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people out there for a game. And then I saw a headline in the Chronicle on a David Barron article: Astros TV game draws rating of 0.00. And I said to Diane, well, I know that's not right because your mother was watching last night. I talked to her. So we went through that, but then 2 World Series parades in 6 years. What a glorious time it is right now. And yeah, I know they're a game under 500, but just enjoy whatever happens, because it's all, you know, Dan, you were probably the same way. You know, for a 14-year-old kid who was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life, if you could tell any 14-year-old, if there were a bunch of them in this room, all right, you like sports, what would you like to do? Who wouldn't like to have a job of waking up in the morning, turning on Sports Center or some MLB highlight shows, reading the sports page, reading the box scores, watching a game for a few innings, preparing for another game that you're going to be doing that night, going to the ballpark, talking baseball with people who play baseball or manage baseball teams, doing the game, and going home to watch the highlights at night. Now, who wouldn't want that job? And there are 30 of these TV play-by-play jobs in the world. So we are extremely blessed by God that all these things have happened. And I want to leave you with one thing, and that's tied in with the Pasadena ISD and the Cy-Fair ISD and all these ISDs, and that we all know, and that is that education brings understanding. Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. So yes, we have some younger folks in the audience. We have some older folks in the audience, and the older folks have learned by now, if there's something that we have left to contribute, let's do that. If we can mentor someone, let's do that. Let's be iron sharpening iron, and let's try to do just a little something to bring this world closer together and make it a better place. Enjoy your evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for that wonderful message, Bill. And now I'd like to ask Dr. Deanne Powell, Superintendent of Pasadena ISD, to come forward, please. Okay.
I was enjoying the speaker, so I'm sorry about that. So welcome and good evening. I'm so thrilled to be with you here tonight. It's always an honor to witness the Hall of Fame inductees. And as Superintendent of Schools of Pasadena ISD, I couldn't be more proud of our district, more proud of the inductees tonight that are going to be honored, and of course the fact that they're going to serve as role models for all of our students across the district. So congratulations. Let's give a round of applause for our inductees tonight. I also want to thank Mr. Bill Brown for doing this for us this evening. We appreciate you serving as the MC this evening. And of course, on behalf of the Pasadena Independent School District, the Pasadena ISD Education Foundation, and Athletics Hall of Fame, we'd like to present you with a token of our appreciation and just thank you for taking the time to be with us here tonight and serve as the MC. So, there we go. Wow. There you go. We're going to take a quick picture. So you get a plaque too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the podium over to Kristen Salinas Howard. She's the Outreach Athletic Trainer for Houston Methodist Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Thank you.
Pasadena ISD, in partnership with Houston Methodist Clear Lake Hospital, provides $5,000 in scholarships each year to students who have excelled in high school student athletic trainer and plans to pursue in healthcare field and post-secondary education. Our first scholarship recipient attends Dobie High School. She dedicated 4 years to the Dobie Sports Medicine program, volunteered for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Walk. She participates in orchestra and holds first chair in her section and holds a 3.5 GPA. She plans to attend Sam Houston State University and study kinesiology with a focus in athletic training. Please welcome Layla Henry to the front. Presenting her with a scholarship check is Dobie athletic trainer Jesse Lopez. Our next scholarship recipient also attends Dobie High School. She dedicated 4 years to the Dobie Sports Medicine program. She volunteers and mentors other athletic trainers in the program. She excels academically and holds a 3.4 GPA. She plans to attend San Jacinto College and major in health sciences. Please welcome Liana Cruz to the front. Presenting Ms. Cruz with her scholarship check once again is Dobie athletic trainer Jesse Lopez.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Terry Brotherton to come forward to the stage, please.
There you are.
Bill. Every year, scholarships totaling $2,500 each are awarded to 2 deserving Pasadena ISD athletes. Award recipients are selected based on a rigorous application process that requires applicants to demonstrate good academic and disciplinary standing. Selection is also based on the student's mastery of skills and principles of the athletic programs in which the student has participated. The scholarship program was developed as a way to support graduating senior athletes pursuing their career path at a post-secondary institution. So without further ado, let's get started. This student attends Pasadena High School and boasts a 3.9 GPA. She is a 4-year letterman of the swim team and diving team. Her athletic achievements include Rookie of the freshman year in both sports, in both swimming and diving. She also earned first team All-District, Academic All-District, All-City, and she was a regional qualifier her freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. Once again, both in swimming and diving. She was team MVP, district MVP, and academic all-region her sophomore, junior, and senior year. Still in both swimming and diving. She was academic All-American her junior and senior year. She was a regional finalist in diving her sophomore and junior year. She was a TAAF state qualifier in swimming her freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, and TAAF state finalist in swimming her senior year. She's volunteered at Galena Park Public Library, Walk for Sight, Public Park Cleanup, Pasadena Livestock Show, Food Bank Distribution, the Eastgate Church Kids Nursery. She participated in a toy drive for a mission trip. She's a supply drive volunteer. She is a member of the National Honor Society and National Hispanic Honor Society. She assists with communities and schools and college ambassadors. She is still undecided where she'll attend, but is considering several schools, and rumor has it she is leaning towards St. Thomas University, where she'll major in business. This young woman is busy. Please welcome and congratulate Emily Lopez from Pasadena High School as our first 2023 Athletics Hall of Fame scholarship recipient. This young man attends Pasadena Memorial High School and boasts a 3.62 GPA. He participates in both football and baseball as a quarterback and pitcher. Some of his athletic achievements include his junior year, he was recognized as the newcomer of the year and most improved in football. In baseball that year, he earned 22 6A first team all-district honors as a pitcher and Pasadena Memorial High School most valuable pitcher. He played as a member of the Texas 12 summer baseball program. So far his senior year, he earned 22 6A first team all-district quarterback and 2022 second team academic all-state for football. And we anticipate more great accolades in baseball, and his senior season is not over yet. His other recognitions and activities include he's in the top 10% of his class. He's a member of the National Honor Society. He was a Pasadena PD Toys for Tots volunteer, and he was a participant in the Read Across America movement. He plans to attend Lamar University and play baseball as he earns a degree in nursing. Please welcome and congratulate Memorial's Top Gun Maverick, Hayden Stallings. Hayden, I know your mom, and I've been keeping an eye on you for a long time, and I'm real proud of you, young man. Now, can we have the slide for the Burt Cone Scholarship with the QR code? There we go. Generally considered to be the most honored player in Pasadena football history, Burt Cone was equally heralded for his track exploits while at Pasadena High. In 2014, he was inducted in the first Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame, and in 2015 was inducted in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Following his death in 2022, the Hall of Fame committee unanimously decided to award a scholarship in his memory to a promising athlete. If you would like to assist us with this legacy, the QR code on the screen will take you to our crowdfunding page. We have already raised $600 for next year's scholarship. Any assistance is welcome. Burt Jr., I think you're sitting over there. Burt, if you could come up. Burt Jr. This athlete attends South Houston High School and boasts a GPA of 3.27. He participated in football, baseball, and track. His athletic achievements include 3-year letterman in football with an all-district honorable mention, 3-year letterman in baseball with a second-team all-district, and an all-district honorable mention. This young man is also a volunteer firefighter, a member of Health Occupation Students of America. He received the prestigious Vanguard Distinction for volunteer hours and is a member of the South Houston High School Orchestra. He is juggling many options for college and is still undecided, but plans to major in nursing and firefighting. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Burt Cone Memorial Scholarship recipient is Victor Lopez Morales. Congratulations, Victor. Thanks, Burt Jr. Once again, congratulations to all our scholarship recipients. We are all very proud of you and your accomplishments and look forward to more great things from all you in the future. Thank you very much.
Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to recognize our 2023 Athletics Hall of Fame inductees.
We proudly introduce Rhonda Foster, Dobie High School. Rhonda coached softball for 22 years, 1983 to 2005. She is sponsored by the Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union. Rhonda's versatility as a coach was matched only by her success. All told, she coached 6 different sports in her 25 years at Dobie, 4 for the girls, 2 for the boys. In addition to her state softball titles in 95 and 97, she guided 3 boys teams and 1 girls team to state cross-country meets. 2 of her runners won state titles. Raz Bellman, who took the 800 meters in 1998, and Brian McKinstry, who claimed the cross-country title in 2001. But it was softball that provided Foster with a lasting legacy. With Krista Williams on the mound, her 1995 team went 35-0. 2 years later, she guided a team that finished 3rd in the district but went to another state round and a crown. She stands as the only coach in Pasadena ISD history to win 2 state titles in the same sport. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, help us to welcome Rhonda Foster into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. And we would like to ask Linda Lukaczewski with the Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union to please join us up front for a photo.
Now introducing Scott Langefeld, Dobie High School, class of 1995. Sponsored by Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott. Langefeld left a championship imprint in 3 sports in high school, and it's hard to say which was more impressive. Twice he won the district country title, and twice finished in the top 15 at the state meet. In track, he claimed district laurels in the 1,600 and 3,200 meter runs, both his junior and senior years. And in baseball, he started at either shortstop or second base for 3 straight playoff qualifying teams. the last of which in 1995 saw the Longhorns reach the regional finals. At A&M, Langfeld emerged as one of the top 3 sport runners in the Big 12. As a senior, he finished 4th at the conference cross-country meet and then 14th at the NCAA meet to earn All-America designation. In both indoor and outdoor track, he etched his name in the Aggie record book, winning Big 12 gold in the 10,000-meter indoor run as a senior. His school record in the outdoor 10,000 still stands. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome Scott Langfeld into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. We'd like to ask Melissa Valdez with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott LLP to please join us up front for a photo.
Presenting to you, Steve Massey, Sam Rayburn High School, class of 1976, sponsored by Pasadena ISD Education Foundation. Regarded as one of Pasadena's ISD most prized defensive line recruits, Massey went on to play in 3 bowl games for UT while helping the Longhorns maintain their reputation earned throughout the 60s and the 70s as one of the best defensive teams in college football. Massey shook off injuries earlier in his college career and earned 3 varsity letters. His playing breakthrough came in '78 when he registered 9 sacks for a team that walloped Maryland 42-0. That was in the Sun Bowl. As a junior in '79, he helped the Longhorns earn the nation's #1 defensive rating. Selected as one of 4 team captains for his senior season, he recorded a career high 4 tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome Steve Massey into the Pasadena ISD Hall of Fame. And we ask Board President of the Education Foundation, Salvador Serrano, would you please join us up front for a photo?
Introducing to you Trey Metter on behalf of his father, Ben Metter, Pasadena High School, class of 1957, sponsored by Metter Staffing Services. A 3-sport athlete in high school, Ben Metter has never lost his fondness for sneakers and whistles. Long an icon in the Pasadena business community, Metter has built a record of support for Pasadena ISD activities, both academic and athletic, that few can rival. Foremost among his contributions is the McDonald's Texas Invitational Basketball Tournament, which he founded in 1999. The tournament, one of the largest preseason basketball events in the nation, has brought in nearly $3 million since its inception, with most of the proceeds going to the Pasadena ISD Education Foundation. Metter served as tournament chairman from 2003 to 2015. Metter, now semi-retired, maintains his position as chairman and CEO of Metter Staffing Services, which maintains offices in Clear Lake, Deer Park, Pearland, the Woodlands, and a corporate office here in Pasadena. He was recognized by the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce as Pasadena's Citizen of the Year in 1991. In 2000, he was named a Distinguished Alumnus by the Pasadena ISD. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome Ben Metter into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. We'd like to ask Melinda Torreson with Metter Staffing Services to please join us up front for a photo.
It's our pleasure to introduce to you Charla Moore, Sam Rayburn High School, class of 1997, sponsored by Ameriflex. A four-year letter winner at Rayburn, Moore was named All-Greater Houston 3 times while posting a phenomenal career earned run average of .072. As a sophomore, she went on to be the head-to-head with Dobie ace Krista Williams, another Pasadena ISD Hall of Famer, in the regional semifinals. The Lady Longhorns, coached by Foster, won 1-0 in a 19-inning classic, which both Moore and Williams went the entire distance of the game. Moore, now Charla Crochet, went on to pitch 4 years at the University of Texas, where she remains one of the school's career ERA leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the Athletics Hall of Fame, Charla Moore. And we ask Sherry Hutcherson to please come up for a photograph.
Introducing Jeff Neal, South Houston High School, class of 1986, sponsored by ABC Dental. Undersized and largely overlooked, Neal blossomed on the gridiron at Howard Payne University, where he earned All-America honors and was later inducted into the school's Sports Hall of Fame. He spent 5 seasons in pro football, but found his niche in powerlifting. Gee, you can't tell at all. In 1993, while a member of the Houston Oilers practice squad, he was honored as the NFL's strongest man. In 1998 and 1999, Neal won consecutive World Powerlifting Championships. Then in 2000, he established Team Impact Ministries, an evangelical organization providing inspirational speakers to churches and schools around the country and internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome Jeff Neal into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. We'd like to ask A.J. Jabari with ABC Dental to please join us up front for a photo.
Introducing Shane Nolan, Pasadena High School, class of 1975, sponsored by Gallagher. Nolan earned 8 letters in 3 sports at Pasadena High School. Still, his performance in the '74 baseball playoff against Milby is something veteran fans in the community still talk about to this day. An 11th inning regional finals thriller. Nolan hurled a complete game, striking out 10. Then, with the game still scoreless in the bottom of the 11th, the Eagles junior launched a game-winning walk-off home run. The victory propelled Pasadena to the state tournament. He went to Baylor, and I suspect he had so much green in his wardrobe from Pasadena High that he wanted to continue with the green. He earned all Southwest Conference honors as a freshman and junior. In '77 and '78, he teamed up with Connolly to help lead Baylor to the school's first 2 CWS berths. Ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome to the Athletic Hall of Fame, Shane Nolan. We'd like to ask Mike Barmore with Gallagher to please join us up front for a photograph.
We would love to be introducing John Eddie Williams this evening, but regrettably he was unable to attend. He is a member of the Pasadena High School class of 1972, sponsored by Stellar Bank. Proudly receiving this award in his honor today, our PHS class of 1972 classmates Becky Mills, Paul White, and Ernie Taylor. After earning statewide recognition as an Eagles lineman, Williams seemed to be on his way to a rewarding college football career. Then the law got in the way. Law school, that is. A 2-time all-district selection, he became part of the first Baylor recruiting class assembled by Grant Taff, who would go on to win more games than any football coach in Baylor history. But after 2 years of opening holes for running backs, Williams said goodbye to football and fixed his gaze on the law. Today, he's one of the nation's best-known litigators. In 1995, he brought a landmark case against Big Tobacco that resulted in a $17.3 billion settlement. At that point, the nation's largest legal settlement. Williams also ranks as one of his alma mater's biggest benefactors. The playing field at Baylor's new stadium is named in his honor. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome John Eddie Williams into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. We'd like to ask Travis Jaggers from Stellar Bank to join this PHS class of '72, represented by Becky Mills, Paul White, and Ernie Taylor, up front for a photo. We now ask the members of the 1981 Dobie High School state champion varsity track team to head to the back, please. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our special presentation, the 1981 state champion Dobie track team gathered together again for the first time in 42 years. And they're sponsored this evening by Pasadena ISD Education Foundation. 6 months after coaching the Longhorn cross-country team to a state title, John Bryan took his track squad to Austin and captured the state championship in dominating fashion. Dobie's title remains just the second state track crown ever won by a Pasadena ISD school. Pasadena also claimed the championship in 1957. 5 different Longhorns placed in the top 4 in their respective events at the state meet. Hall of Famer Gawain Guy, who had won the state cross-country title the previous fall, led the Dobie contingent by winning the gold medal in the 1600 meters. Paul Miller took silver in the pole vault. Lawrence Mitchell in the 100 meters. Sammy Schimfessel in the 800. And Greg Johnson in the 3200 all claimed 4th place finishes. Well, tonight they claim another place in history as they are inducted into Pasadena ISD's 2023 Athletics Hall of Fame class. The 1981 state champion Dobie track team. Head coach John Bryan, a past individual Hall of Fame inductee. Assistant coach Mike McKinney. Gawain Guy, first in the 1600 meters and a past individual Hall of Fame inductee. Greg Johnson, 4th in the 3200 meter. Paul Miller, 2nd in the pole vault. Lawrence Mitchell, 4th in the 200 meters. Sammy Schimfessel, 4th in the 800 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome the 1981 Dobie track team into the Pasadena ISD Athletics Hall of Fame. We'd like to ask PISD Education Foundation Executive Director Emily Ontiveros to please join us up front for a photo.
Okay, we'd like to ask Herman Williams to come forward, please.
Well, this is the second time I've got to be in this position, so I guess they figured the first time I was working out, it'd work out second time. Look, this is kind of a neat deal. We started several years ago. You would probably like to thank these guys, every one of them that induct in the Hall of Fame, and ask them, what does it really mean to you by being in the Hall of Fame? Well, if we had 8 or 9, and of course we got a team of 5 guys and hope if you allowed them to get up here and do that kind of stuff, we probably would be home tomorrow morning sometime. And that's after you get through the ones that won't even get near a mic. So it's been kind of our format the last few years to ask certain individuals in an inductee who could represent the inductees and tell it in his mind what it means to him. And hopefully that's the same following you have with these other guys. Now you'll get a chance to talk to these guys when we leave here at the signature tables as you leave here. So if you want to ask them what it means to them then personally, but at this particular time, we've got a real treat because this is a gentleman that teaches speaking. And so, we're going to have a real chance to hear what it means to him and obviously part of what it means to these other guys. So I'd like to introduce to you, and y'all give a big hand to Jeff Neal, South Houston class of 1986.
Well, thank you. It is an honor and it's a privilege to be able to speak to you. And my greatest gift for you tonight as a speaker is that I'm going to be brief. Amen? I know that's always appreciated. I will just very, very quickly tell you, I want to say thank you on behalf of all of the inductees to all the chairman, the Hall of Fame members that allowed this whole thing, committee members that allowed this thing to take place, the trustees, and everyone who made this event come together tonight. Let's give them a round of applause for all they've done, and I appreciate them. I am grateful to have the opportunity to be able to be here and speak on behalf of all of these inductees. Also grateful to have my family, my extended family here, all that came here to be here tonight. My wife, who has just sacrificed so much for me to be able to do this and to be able to play football for a living. I'm always reminded, I had a friend of mine named Smiley Elmore, that was his given name. He was a running back at the University of Missouri, kind of a cocky guy, arrogant guy, before he came to faith. He would openly admit it. He said, Jeff, I'll give you an idea of how arrogant I was, how cocky I was. He said, we had a big win at the University of Missouri. Me and some of my teammates decided to go to a nice restaurant and have a steak dinner. He said, we sat down, we ordered our food, and admittedly, he was rather rude to the waiter, he said, but he notices his meal was delivered, that he didn't have enough butter to finish his meal. So he said, immediately, I rudely called him over and I said, listen, I need some more butter for my meal. Go get it. He said, the waiter kind of hung his head. And he said, sir, I'm sorry. It's restaurant policy that we only give 2 pats of butter to each person. I've already given you 2. I can't give any more. Smiley said, I was angry. He said, I stood to my feet, pushed my chair back. He said, young man, do you know who I am? He said, I'm expected to be an All-American running back at the University of Missouri, Oklahoma bodybuilding champion, bench press this. Went on a long list of things that he had accomplished. And he said to punctuate his final sentence, he took his index finger and poked it at his chest. And he said, I bet you didn't know that, did you? And he said, the young man who had been hanging his head, he said, no, sir, I didn't. He said, but sir, you must not know who I am. He said, no, who are you? He said, I'm the guy who's in charge of the butter, and you're not getting any more. I think often, as I got to talk to some of the fellow inductees before we started tonight, and to hear all the things that they've done, the incredible accomplishments they've achieved, both on the athletic field and off the athletic field, this means a tremendous amount. You know, my career wasn't a straight line. I had to kind of fight from the AFL in New York to Houston, fighting my way onto the team there. We're back in the Warren Moon days. I'm not going to brag up here and to be arrogant and prideful about how great I was. I played with Bruce Matthews out of USC, Mike Munchak out of Penn State. We all 3 played on the offensive line together. And again, not to brag or be arrogant, but between the 3 of us, we had 24 Pro Bowl appearances. Bruce had 15, Mike had 9, and I had none. But between the 3 of us, I'm kind of a big deal. But I had a friend of mine who was really instrumental in my spiritual development. And he told me something that really never changed. He said, listen, Jeff, you know, with the platform that you have with athletics, you can make a difference. He said, there are a couple of things that transcend all social, racial, socioeconomic backgrounds. It's music and it's athletics. And if you heard me sing, you would know I can play football. But I recognized I could use that to get the opportunity to travel around the world, to share my faith and to share what's important for me. And I am so grateful to this committee, to this group, and all who have sacrificed to make this night possible. Thank you so much.